you can make a clean Ranger build that has 90% of what this thing's putting down on the road for half the money.
Yeah, you can make a clean Ranger build, and you're going to have a great time riding around wishing you had this. Hey everyone, welcome back to Gear Glazers. I'm Kyle, and this is Mike, aka Mike Milley, and today we're starting a brand new series on trail titans. Super trucks, anything that's out there tackling the trails, or in this case the dunes, and we're starting this series with none other than the F-150 Raptor, the OG. Mike, talk to me.
Did you know that there are more possible combinations of the Ford F-150 trim packages than there are stars in our universe?
What?
No, that's not true. But there's a lot of them.
You almost got me for a second. I was like, well, okay, this one's got the wheel package. This one.
Nah, Ford loves their packages, and the Raptor is the packagiest package that Ford offers for their truck.
Yeah. Okay, so before we even jump into it, I just wanted to say we had to switch from the games that we're normally playing. We're normally playing Forza Motorsports. We're normally playing Gran Turismo. But with this thing, we had to look outside the box a little bit, put this thing in its natural habitat.
Yeah, this thing definitely doesn't belong on a track, so we put it where it belongs.
Mm-hmm. So we're in, like, dunes. And it's actually not random. The reason that we're doing this in dunes is because this is the first truck that ever captured my attention in this way. The F-150 Raptor was the first time I ever got supercar feelings about a truck. And the first time that ever happened to me is when I saw a video of this thing in the dunes doing like a Baja at like 85 miles an hour. I saw that video and like my life changed. I was like, I like trucks now. And so that's why we're here.
Yeah, that's like the use case for this thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a Baja truck for sure.
Okay, cool. Because I know that there's like a lot of different types of off-road builds, and certain cars do better in certain environments, and this one just seems to have like suspension that handles really high speed, like over extremely bumpy terrain really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do anything in this car. You can rock climb, you can do anything you want, but it's definitely made for Baja.
Gotcha.
And I really think the Raptor is like one of the first trucks to do it this way in this generation, and like super truck vibes. Like, because you can look back and you got the GMC Cyclone, you've got Shelby trucks, you've got Rams with tons of power. I mean, there's been super trucks before, but as far as my generation, like me growing up, this is the first time I ever got that feeling.
Sure. Yeah, there was that weird thing with all like the super trucks back in the day. You mentioned the GMC Cyclone, obviously the Dodge Ram SRT10 with the Viper engine, and it never really felt like it made a lot of sense because trucks kind of had the opportunity and the possibility to do off-roading things, but those builds were like street builds or like even like drag strip builds, which seemed really strange to like buy from a car company. Like, why would you not just like build something custom? So those things didn't really find their home until this thing came out.
Yeah, I think that super trucks like that, like on a drag strip, I think they're super cool.
Yeah.
But I think that like that's not what a super truck is. And like, I wanted to make a note on this because I think a lot of people have been saying in the Instagram comments like, oh, I'm all about the 0 to 60 times or all about the straight line performance. And like a super car is supposed to be good at that.
Yeah.
A super car is supposed to be super fast. Super is defined by the word after it. And so a super truck isn't a 0 to 60 beast. It's doing things that trucks do to a super degree. That's what this thing does.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the biggest advocate of performance does not explicitly mean track performance or 0 to 60 or straight line performance. Yeah. Performance is doing what that car does effectively. Like literally serving its purpose and being useful in one specific way. And I think this car really, really hits that personality, at least for Baja and for like high speed off-roading.
Definitely.
Which is like, and here's my take on it, dude. I think that's really specific of a niche for a car that costs this much money and is marketed this widely.
Oh no.
Dude,
I just want to let you gonna hate on the F-150 Raptor? Is that about to happen right now?
Dude, I can't hate this car because it's objectively cool, right? Like, I have nothing against this car specifically. My beef is with Ford and the way that they're marketing this car. I feel like they could have so much easier served the enthusiast community by providing a lower cost platform that people could then use to customize for their own possible off-roading experiences, whatever, terrain is closest to them. But instead, Ford does what Ford does best and makes packages to sell to people and marks them up as much as feasibly possible using a pricing ladder.
So your argument against the F-150 is that it should be cheaper, or F-150 Raptor, it should be cheaper, and you should be able to put your own Fox suspension on it and go out to the dunes.
Yeah, and you can, but because of what Ford's done, and you can customize it, but because of what Ford's done, they've sort of de-incentivized you to, because you get one meaningful piece of performance for the truck every time you upgrade to another trim level, and they've created that pricing ladder to like really, really incentivize you to keep stepping up and spending more and more and more until you're like, well, I'm already buying the Ford Raptor, I might as well spend the extra 30 grand and get the supercharged V8 in it, because otherwise they're going to give me this, rinky-dink V6.
Okay, so I want to be clear. We're talking about the Ford Raptor here. The V6 version, we'll get into that. Obviously, you can't talk about this car without everyone being like, what about the Raptor R? It's sick. We're going to get to that as well. But the price of this truck, do you have that? The price of this truck is $78,000.
Yeah.
$78,000. That's expensive. I'll give you that. But, you can take this truck, throw things in the bed, literally fill that bed up with whatever work you've got to do that day. You can tow thousands of pounds with this car. You can take this car to the grocery store. You can take this car to the mall. You can take this car and go 85 on dunes. You can take this and scale up the side of a mountain. How much is that supposed to cost?
It's absurd that it can do all of those things, but again, this isn't what you're going to buy to tow your boat over to the lake, man.
Why not?
Because the suspension is not made for that.
Dude, tons of people literally do that. Tons of people do that.
One of the big comparisons between this car and the other performance off-roading trucks, we could take the TRX for example, was that this thing has the ability to keep really, really level when you're hitting really uneven ground at high speed. But what that means when you're driving on roads is that this thing is mush. The suspension of this thing is literally mush. It's
got a little bit of body roll.
So
it's got a little bit of body roll.
More optimally, you're going to want something more like an F-150 King Ranch or a Platinum or a Ram Hemi truck to actually tow things. Those things are set up more optimally for towing. This actually isn't the best application. So spending 80 grand on this thing to tow and go get groceries is a wild misappropriation.
Yeah, but dude, any of those trucks will be fine towing. You need to tow your boat, you'll be fine with a normal F-150.
Yeah.
This truck will do that in spades. It's not about buying this truck so you can tow. It's that you bought this truck because it's sick and you also can tow.
That's what Ford wants you to think, man.
What?
It's like when you're going to get the iPhone, you know what I mean? I need to make phone calls and I need to send text messages. But if I spend an extra $200, I can get some more storage. If I spend an extra $200 over that, I can get some really nice cameras. What if I need to take some photos? If I spend an extra $200 over that, I can get a bigger screen. Why don't I just do that? Oh no, I spent $2 grand on a phone.
This car can do anything. This car can literally do, it is the land version of an amphibious vehicle. I mean, it can literally do everything.
Yeah. I think that there's not many people out here, not many people who are going to be able to afford this thing who are going to be using it for all of those purposes. So I feel like it never really chalks up in value next to something that's built a little bit more custom for your purposes.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely insane. I'm not gonna lie, I think this truck deserves the title of supercar more than a lot of the modern day supercars. And because this thing wears a Ford badge and is an F-150 body, people look at it and they're like, oh, an expensive truck. This thing is a supercar, dude. Straight up.
Supercar kind of has a weird, meaning these days because it's it's losing in a straight line race to almost any normal car.
Is this? No.
I wouldn't even.
I don't think so.
The V6?
Dude, even the V6. The V6 0 to 60 is 5.2 seconds. That's faster than some of the cars we did in the JDM series that call themselves sports cars. And it's a truck, dude. You have to give it that. And let's not even get started on the Raptor R. 3.6. Are you kidding me?
3.6 for the Raptor R is insane.
On off-road tires?
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane. It's a supercar.
I mean, it's got 700 horsepower. Like,
It's a supercar.
Set aside, it weighs whatever 7,000 something pounds.
It's a supercar. Straight up.
Yeah, I don't think you can call the normal Raptor a supercar though. I think that's reserved.
Sounds like a GTR.
What do you mean?
Sounds like a GTR. Legit sounds like a GTR.
It does sound a little bit like a GTR.
Supercar, dude. And also, one thing I wanted to mention in this is it a supercar debate, the Raptor R literally has a Predator engine in it.
Yeah.
It has the Shelby GT500 in it, engine in it. That's a supercar.
It's true.
And thank God for this beautiful country that we stick 700 plus horsepower motors in pickup trucks. No, I just want to talk, when we talk about sports cars, when we talk about supercars, there's competition around the world. You got UK, you got Italy, you got US, literally everywhere. When we talk super trucks, dude, we're the only one doing this. We're the only one silly enough to do this. And it's amazing. I love it.
This could not exist anywhere else on Earth.
I love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into my segment for the day. And my segment is sponsored by Budweiser, another thing that only gets used at parking lot tailgates. So, with that said, the first question I've got for you, Mike, is, would you daily this?
Yeah, I'd daily it.
I think this is one of the best dailies.
I don't know about best. I think, I have driven around a truck as a daily. I think depending on where you live, it can be really rough. I'd put the caveat of if you don't live in a metropolitan area, then it's an amazing daily.
Dude, so Throttle House literally, when they were in the Raptor, the base Raptor, the V6 version, they were like, this is literally more comfortable than most of the luxury cars we've driven in.
Yeah.
It's comfortable, it's fast, it sounds great, it's got a ton of horsepower, you can spin the wheels on and off the pavement. Dude, I might daily this. I might, honestly, I might be in the market for either an F-150 Raptor or a TRX or something like that next. Because after the Z06, this is another way to do that in a different league. You know what I mean?
You know, it's a guilty pleasure car for me along those lines.
What?
The F-150 King Ranch.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I know that it is such a stereotypical marketing piece of a car, and it really, really is playing on American stereotypes that aren't really okay. But that thing is probably so comfortable just to drive around.
The King Ranch is incredible.
Naturally aspirated V8 that's going to take you up to the highway speeds at 1,200 RPM.
Let's go.
Oh man, I'd daily that over this.
I wouldn't, but I love the King Ranch. Okay. Question number 2. When you picture the driver of this truck, who are they? Tell me their story.
Oh yeah, so we got cowboy boots for sure.
I need a name. I need a name. Who's the person?
It's Cody. This is Cody.
Okay.
This is Cody's truck.
All right. Okay.
He's got cowboy boots on that have no scuffs on them.
Okay.
We got clean blue jeans.
Okay.
We got 3 different flavors of Zins in the cup holder.
Couple Zinnichinos. Okay.
Couple Zinnichinos.
Couple lip pillows.
And weirdly enough, a Starbucks cup.
Oh no. He's trying you, Cody. That's what's happening here.
Who are you saying?
Me.
Yeah.
I'm seeing me, dude. I love this truck, and honestly, it might be next on the list.
That's hilarious.
Okay. Next question. What is this car's nemesis?
Oh, dude, it's the Ram TRX, 100%.
The Ram TRX. This thing has nightmares about the Ram TRX.
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting discussion. It's which truck are you taking?
I take this. I honestly prefer, I did look into the competition between them, and while the Ram TRX is, literally a direct answer to this, I think that cars that are built to be that are explicitly doomed to fail.
I'm taking the TRX 10 out of 10 times.
Actually?
I'll tell you exactly why. $83,000 for the Ram TRX, and this V6 is $78,000.
Yeah.
So this is not similarly priced. The Ram TRX and the Raptor R are not similarly priced. The base Raptor is, and the TRX is much better. It's much faster, has more horsepower, more personality. Taking the Ram TRX.
Yeah, I think the F-150 platform is pretty undefeated, though, and I think that Dodge probably, had to do some things to their platform that truck platform wasn't used to get it to do the things that it thinks it needs to do to compete with the Raptor. So I just got to stick with the OG here. But if you mean nemesis in terms of not a direct competitor, what is the antithesis maybe of this car? Maybe like an NA Miata, like an original.
I was about
90s.
to say a Hyundai Elantra.
A Hyundai, yeah. Maybe,
like, because this is super at everything it does, and the Hyundai Elantra is
very mid.
Terrible at everything it does.
What's the highest dollar value car though? Like something that'll maybe compete with this.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like the exact opposite. Like in the same price range, but the actual antithesis. Like the person who buys this,
so it's got to be like
zero in common with.
It's got to be like a Lotus.
A Lotus?
Like a Lotus Emira.
You know what I would say? I'd say the Model X Tesla. Same.
No, not Model
range.
X though, because they have something in common. The space. Model 3.
True.
Your typical Model 3 buyer is the exact. No, not even a Tesla though, because they've got a little bit of Give me like Hyundai electric car.
Oh, what's the
iconic whatever?
Yeah, the
Ionic or whatever?
Ionic with the Q.
Yeah.
The antithesis of this car is the Hyundai Ionic Q. Yeah. So it's time for an all-new segment called Glaze This, Not That, where I tell you what car to buy instead of the Ford F-150 Raptor.
Oh, no.
Brought to you by Bud Light. We take it all back.
Oh, no.
That's what Bud Light wanted me to say.
We did not talk about this. I love that both of our sponsors were literally Budweiser and Bud Light. That's amazing.
Bud Light just wanted me to issue a regretful apology to F-150 owners. I'm not sure what they mean by we take it all back, but they said that you guys would understand.
Okay. Okay, all right. What do we got?
Okay, so, truthfully, it's hard to find a competitor to this that hasn't been harped on. Obviously, the Ram TRX is the direct competitor to this.
Yes.
But if you're really, really serious about overlanding and doing Baja, and that's something you do as an actual lifestyle, maybe you even live somewhere where doing that is necessary to get to your own home, like to and from, I think that a better alternative to this car would be the Toyota Tacoma Trail Hunter that just came out. And I know it's a really, really hot take because that is not the same car at all. It's got a 2.4 liter four-cylinder hybrid.
What are we talking about here?
That thing is putting down 326 horsepower, 465 torque. That's well more than enough power to get anything that you need done. It doesn't have the same, like, you know, pride and presence and you know, sort of like machismo that the F-150 Raptor is going to give you, but what it does bring to the table is that thing can be out in the dunes for hours, dude. That hybrid powertrain is getting insane gas mileage while flying over dunes.
You hear this thing start up? You just hear that noise?
Does sound like
the Tacoma doesn't sound like that.
It does sound like a GTR.
The Tacoma does not sound like that. Dude, I mean, just looking at the inside of the truck, honestly, this might be the only place. Low-key, the Tacoma's nice on the inside.
Yeah.
I've seen the inside, and I mean, this thing's alright. It's kind of cool. Ford Performance on the screen. Like, it's dope. But to get back to your point, dude, like, they're just different trucks. And, like, if you want to make the argument of reliability, then sure, a Tacoma, everyone on Earth knows that a Toyota pickup truck will get you wherever you need to go. Mm-hmm. If we got to put vehicles on Mars, we should be putting Toyota Tacomas up. But, like, that's not a super truck. Would you say that a Toyota Tacoma is a super truck? I
think the Trail Hunter actually is, and I think we're in a weird place where a four-cylinder hybrid has the potential to do things that this car can do. If you take a look at them, both of them are using Fox racing suspension. Both of these things are incredibly capable trucks. One is obviously less cool, understandably.
You're making me sad, dude.
If that's your lifestyle,
you're
it's
making me
better
sad
option.
right now. I'm just disappointed, really, is what I'm experiencing.
Oh my god. All right, maybe I got a better option for you that you'll like more.
Okay, hit me with it.
The other alternative, if you don't want to stray away from the greatest truck that man's ever built.
If you've had enough soy.
If you're done drinking soy lattes. Go ahead and get an F-150 Tremor for 64 base.
Dude, I've heard of that thing. What is it?
So the F-150 Tremor is pretty much just like a mid-tier package for the F-150 that brings a lot of sport suspension parts. And I believe you can get it with the naturally aspirated V8 Coyote engine. So what we can do with this is for $12,000, you can take the 5-link suspension from the Raptor and you can put it into that car. And for an additional $6,000, you can put a supercharger on that Coyote engine. So now we have something pushing around 600 horsepower with an incredibly capable suspension, and it's going to be moddable going forward.
What's the total price?
It's going to be somewhere around the price of the base Raptor, not the Raptor R, but you're going to be getting Raptor R performance.
I don't know, man. Like, I hear you, but like, it's nice to have this thing out of the box with a warranty. You know what I mean? And have everything like OEM.
I knew you were going to say that, dude, and I just don't know how much the warranty actually helps you here.
I mean, if you're flying down the dunes and you just bought this car for $78,000 and your suspension explodes on day one, like, you definitely need that warranty.
I mean, if you go back and your like suspension leaked all of its fluid out, then maybe they'll put some new struts in for you. But if you go in and there's a boulder lodged between your drive shaft and your
not
linkage,
a boulder, of course, not a boulder. Yeah.
They're gonna tell you get the hell out of their shop.
I mean, they're both. I'm not gonna say that buying a lower model, a lower version of this and modding it isn't a good idea. I think that's just preference. Are you into modifying your car, or are you the kind of person that likes to buy it from factory built?
Sure. I will say that it does also give you the opportunity to specialize this thing for purposes that are a little bit more specific to maybe your use case and the type of terrain that is near where you live.
That's fair. Maybe you don't want a Baja truck. Maybe you want something that's like really, really built for rock climbing.
Maybe it's insane in the snow. Who knows?
Maybe. This thing's sick in the snow too, though.
I
That's
bet
another
it
thing
is.
we didn't even talk about. Like, it actually can do anything. And like, just take a second and like, you know what? I don't even want to get to that. Let's just get to the glaze score. I will cover all of that in the glaze score.
All right.
But before I do, I just wanted to say, the F-Series truck, fun facts, sold 726,000 units last year. Almost 1 million trucks last year. And they've had years where they've done like 900-something thousand.
Yeah.
Since 2000, they've sold 18 million. 18 million F-Series trucks.
Oh my God.
That is an absurd amount of F-Series trucks on the roads. Nuts.
God bless America. That's one of those stats that makes me just want to chant USA, USA, USA.
Yeah, actually.
That's great.
Okay, glaze score. Let's jump into it. Performance. What do you got?
Performance. I'm giving this a 7. I was looking at this, and I think that you can't give this thing any more than a 7, knowing that the Raptor R exists.
Okay.
The Raptor R and the Ram TRX, though, I give them boys 10s.
Okay. I gave this thing an 8.
Okay.
And I was really struggling with the Raptor R. I don't know if that's a 9 or a 10, but we're not doing that in this episode, so I don't have to do it, but it's up there.
Yeah.
But this thing is an 8, and I agree. It's like, as cool as this car is, the TRX, the Raptor R are just better. But 8 is, solid. Like, 9 is the highest score I've given anything ever. Anything we've ever done, and it's a truck. That should say something.
No, this thing is absolutely insane.
Insanity. Okay. Design. What do you think?
Design. I have a 5, man. Like, it's cool. And it turns my head when I see one, but there are a lot of cool truck builds out there.
I gave this thing an 8. Dude,
I'm getting Krispy Kreme on the phone. They need your help.
Dude, look at this thing. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. The presence that you have on this thing, like...
Bro, just get I can get a similar amount of presence by buying a Ford Ranger and lifting it, bro. Like...
No.
Yes,
The
dude.
Raptor is super, super wide. I think it's 7 inches wider than the normal Raptor. Like, it's got those massive 37-inch or 37-inch wheels. The linkages at the bottom, the skid plate underneath, the nice Ford logo in the front, the Raptor badging. Like, dude, you see one of these on the road and you respect it. That's got to go for something.
Bro, yeah, but you can make a clean Ranger build that has 90% of what this thing's putting down on the road for half the money.
Yeah, you can make a clean Ranger build, and you're going to have a great time riding around wishing you had this. That's just a fact. Anyone who says that's not a fact,
nah.
cap.
Talk to the Ford Ranger boys. Them boys, they know. They know the truth about the Ford Ranger, bro. The Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger's dope, but you're getting M240i syndrome. Like, it's literally, there's a better car. Like,
yeah.
Okay, with that said, value. What do you got?
Value 3. Hard 3 for this boy. I cannot justify buying this thing with how much they're charging you for like components that you can buy from Fox Suspension. You can just go online and get the stuff to make your F-150 into this. Like, why are they charging so much for it?
You can buy this thing. You can finance this thing out of a showroom floor and take over a village. Is that supposed to cost 40 grand? Like, it's gonna be expensive, dude. This thing is an absolute unit. I gave it a 5 for value, which was like really, really low. And like, I really wanted to give it more, but it is just, okay, this is honestly what it was, because we were kind of doing both cars, the Raptor and the Raptor R. It's $80,000 for this truck. 80 grand.
Yeah.
And the Raptor R is 110,000.
Right.
I mean, like that's so much money that like it just can't have a super high value score, but like if you can pay that money, this truck is insane.
You know what my problem with this thing is, really? Like, I would hate this thing so much less if it wasn't for the V6 turbo. If this thing had a naturally aspirated V8, if it just had the Coyote motor in it, and you knocked whatever amount that is off the price because you're using the engine that you make $1 billion of, I would probably glaze this car.
Yeah. That's fair.
That engine drives me crazy, man. Anything with
no one
EcoBoost,
likes a V6, dude.
Anything with EcoBoost on the like engine name is gonna trigger my PTSD.
100%. We all wish it was V8, and that's why they gave us the Raptor R, but they charged us $1 billion for it.
Literally.
Okay, perception. What do you got?
Perception. I got a 6. I think it's not very differentiated from the other F-150 models. I think people who know what they're looking for know that it's really, really cool, but people who aren't too educated on cars won't really notice.
Yeah. I gave it a 6 also, and that was it was really tough. I cried a little. I did. Because I think the car is so nice, and like when I see one of these things, I'm like, oh man, a Raptor. But I mean, you're right. Like, people are just gonna look at this and be like, "Oh, that's a nice F-150."
Yeah.
You cannot escape that.
Your girl's friend asks what you drive. It's like, oh, he drives a truck. I think it's an F-150.
It's a nice Ford.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the perception's just not super high. You get murked with that when you're driving a Ford, but hey, car guys will respect you.
True. Honestly, perception score for the King Ranch though. Bro, 10.
Depends who you're asking.
Nah,
you're asking my Tio. It's a 10.
My Tio, yeah. Facts. Oh man.
Oh man. Well, I can't believe we're here, but this went super fast, man.
Yeah.
The first truck that made me like trucks. Here we go. F-150 Raptor, guys.
Thanks for watching.